What is the source of my thoughts? Because now I want to change my thinking. I need to change my thinking. So I need to know the source of my thoughts. Positive energy is what gets created. What is the source of my thoughts? Thought is an energy we create. But what is the source of those thoughts by which that energy gets created? I, the consciousness, I can call it soul, I can call it spirit, I can call it light, I can call it power, I can call it consciousness. Word doesn't matter. Important is the understanding that this energy, I, the soul, is taking charge of this body. I, the soul, perform three functions. When I create thoughts, we call it the mind. When I take a decision, we call it the intellect. Once I've taken a decision, that thought comes out into action, right? Here there's a glass of water. I create a thought. I need to drink water. Second thought, my mind says, wait till 1 o'clock. You don't need it right now. Then again, I create a thought. No, my mouth is drying up. I need to drink water. Then my mind says, no, why in front of so many people? Wait for half an hour. Does this go on? Yes? So these are random, so many thoughts we create. There comes the role of the intellect. Check the thoughts, evaluate the thoughts, take a decision. So if my intellect says, drink the water, then my thought of drinking the water comes into action, karma, and then I will drink this water. Next program, again two thoughts. Should I drink? Should I not drink? If the intellect says drink, again I drink, comes into action. Do it a few times. Do it a few times, and it becomes my habit, my nature. Hindi word sanskar. Once it becomes my habit, my nature, my sanskar, then in the program next week, my mind does not create two thoughts. It doesn't create two thoughts. Should I drink? Should I not drink? My intellect doesn't analyze, doesn't take a decision. What do I do? What do I do? I just pick up the glass and drink. These are the three roles I, this energy, this consciousness is playing. Create thoughts, mind. Take a decision, intellect. Bring it into action, repeated action, sanskar, nature, habit, personality. Once it becomes a sanskar, a habit, then we only react in life according to habits. Is it possible to change a habit? Yes? Is it possible for me to change a habit? Not just outer habits of eating, drinking, sleeping, waking up, but habit, a sanskar, internal habits, my way of reacting to a scene, my way of behaving with a particular person, my way of responding to a particular situation, which I'm doing as a habit. Is it possible to change a habit? Choose one habit, any one sanskar. Choose which we will change today. Choose any one habit, one sanskar, which I, the soul, powerful soul, I change this habit today for myself. Raise your hands. How many have selected their habit? You're not going to tell it to anybody. Upper gallery. Thank you. Now, first blessing to yourself. Say, changing this habit is the simplest thing to do. Say, brother says, it's going to be very hard. Do you know what happens? My mind is my most obedient child. If I tell this mind, it's going to be very hard, then what will happen? It's going to be very hard. My mind will say, okay, it's going to be very hard. If I tell my mind, I will try, my mind will say, okay, I will try. And tomorrow my mind will say, I tried. It didn't happen. It's obedient, it's my mind. But be very careful what you teach this child inside. So, what should we say to the mind? What should I say to my mind? I've changed so many habits in this lifetime, haven't we? There's nobody who's not changed habits. There is nobody who's not changed habits, whether for the good or to the other side, but we've changed habits. So, changing a habit is most natural for us. It's only that now we are going to consciously change a habit. So, the first line I give to myself, changing a habit is changing a habit is the simplest thing to do. What's easier, to create this hole or to change a habit? Somebody created this beautiful hole. What's easy, to create this hole or to change a habit? Create this hole or change a habit? We have all created wonders in the outside world. Look at these miracles that we have created. Look at that phone in your hand. Somebody has created that miracle. We've all created these miracles. We, who could create so many miracles, can't change one habit? Can't change a habit? It's the easiest thing to do. Don't be so mean to yourself by saying, no, it's very difficult, I can't change. Say to yourself, I've done so much. This is nothing. Take a decision and it's done tomorrow. Mind will say, okay, sir, done tomorrow. It's my mind. Every time I have to tell myself, it's my mind. But every time I say, no, it's not in my control, it's very difficult, I cannot do it, I'm giving up on my own self. So changing this habit is the easiest thing that I've done. And it's very simple. Now, mind, intellect, sanskar. Mind was creating options, intellect was taking a decision, sanskar was getting created. But once the sanskar got created, mind stopped creating options. Now I want my mind to start creating options again. Let's say, for example, you have a habit of drinking a cup of tea or coffee first thing when you go to work. Okay? Now what happens? 10 years back, you went to office for the first time. Somebody asked you there, what would you like to have? Tea, coffee, lemon water, coconut water, green tea. Options. Options. We were given options. That day the intellect said tea. Next day again we were given options. The intellect said tea. How many days were we given options then? How many days were we given options? If the fifth day somebody still asks you, do you want tea, coffee? So what are you going to say? So you don't still know what I want? Which means stop giving me options. I don't want any more information. Sanskar is created. Tea. Now I can live with this habit for 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, take it to my next lifetime also. One day, somebody sent me an article which explained to me tea is not good for health. Information. New piece of information. When we got that new piece of information, and we were going through some issue with the body, and when I read that new piece of information, my mind again opened up. My mind again opened up options which it had shut down for 20 years after creating a sanskar of having tea. But what created those options? Information. A new piece of information. So, who's the creator of the thoughts? Me. But what is the source of my thoughts? Information. We are what we watch, read, listen. Information. In the last 10, 20 years, what has happened? The amount of information we are consuming has suddenly multiplied, not increased, multiplied many, many times. And our little phone is largely responsible for that. So, media, social media, every click, information, 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 information. So, over information is the cause of overthinking. Go to a remote place where they don't have internet. They don't have internet. They don't have access to the outside world. They don't have too much information. Go and ask them, do you think too much? They say, no. And you will suddenly see on their faces a simplicity, a serenity, a peace, an ease, at calm. Why? Less information, less thoughts, peace. But we are not going away. We are going to be here. But we are going to take care of what we are consuming. So, information is the raw material. Thought is the energy which gets created. So, information is what food is to the body, information is to the mind. So, like we take care of our physical diet, emotional diet, emotional diet, emotional nutrition. What I watch, read, listen is what's going to create my thoughts. I believed anger is normal. I believed stress is normal. I believed all this is normal. I created a sanskar. I was creating anger a couple of times during the day. Fresh piece of information. Anger affects my body. Anger causes of lots of illnesses. Anger affects my relationship. Fresh piece of information. My mind starts exploring the option. I want to start using peace and patience to respond. Information. So that is what spirituality does, gives information, knowledge, knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Till I get a new layer of information, I just am not able to create a new way of thinking. Which means till I change the food I consume, I cannot change the energy created in my body. And that's why when we go to a doctor with any small or big ailment, the first issue that is going to be addressed is what is your diet? What is your diet? And to bring a shift in the body, there will have to be a shift in the diet. To bring a shift in my mind, in my thoughts, there will have to be a shift in my emotional diet. How many of you love to read early morning or watch and listen to what's happening in the world? World news. World news. Please raise your hands. अच्छे से अच्छे से अच्छे से. Now, pause. Ask yourself the second question. What's the quality of my early morning nutrition that I'm consuming? What's the quality? My nutrition that I'm consuming is world news. Some people need their newspaper in bed. I know people when once in a while there's no newspaper because of a holiday, they read the previous day's newspaper again. Addicted to that diet. I have to read it. Now, early morning, fresh mind, slept well, charged, absorption power highest. We used to be taught when in school, get up early and study. Remember? Subah utke के पढ़ो. Get up early and study. Why? Because whatever I study early in the morning will go. That's it. Absorbed. Today, what am I studying early morning? What am I studying early morning? What are the nutrients of what I'm consuming early morning? Nutrient of, nutrient of, nutrient. What is the nutrient of what I'm consuming early morning? Violence. Violence. Yes. Is there an element of violence early in the morning in what we are consuming? Yes. Is there an element of corruption in what we are consuming early morning? Is there an element of abuse in what we're consuming early morning? And then I fill myself early morning with this information. And then after that, during the day, I'm thinking that stress is normal, anger is normal, because after consuming that emotional nutrient, the thoughts which are going to get created are going to be of the same quality. Nothing and no one can change my quality of thought after consuming that nutrient early morning. Like, once I've put in a particular food in my body, nothing can stop that energy from getting created. So, first thing that I have to do is check emotional nutrients first thing in the morning. And then one day, I walked into the Brahma Kumari Center. First thing in the morning, 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. Information. That was also information. This was also information. And first thing in the morning, information, not about the outer world, but now it was an information about the inner world. It was an information in which every nutrient was of compassion, of love, of giving, of happiness, of purity, of peace, of God's love and acceptance, of blessings. A completely opposite emotional diet. After that, we don't have to do anything much to change the thought. Just have to do nothing much. Just replace the newspaper of the outer world with, with a newspaper of the inner world. A newspaper from what's happening in the world to a study of how I can respond to the outer world with dignity and respect. A newspaper of how the world is in a mess to spiritual knowledge of how I can create a very beautiful world. Completely opposite information. Completely opposite information. And just that change in emotional diet begins the journey of creating a different quality of thinking. When the thinking is of a lower frequency, numbers are high. When I'm thinking negative, it's fast thinking. When I'm thinking purity, peace, love, numbers automatically slow down. Sit and criticize somebody in your mind. Count the number of thoughts. Sit and bless somebody in your mind. Count the number of thoughts. Do you think there will be a difference? Just criticize somebody in your mind right now and see how many number. It's the number. No, we're talking about overthinking. And I'll say, she's like this, he's like this, always like this, born like this. God also cannot change him. Nobody. Chalta jayega. After that, I say, okay, bless them. Okay, bless you. God's love and power all with you. After that, I'll say, now what more to say about them? Finish. Pure thoughts, slow, less in number. Wrong thoughts, many number. Goes on, goes on, goes on. So we don't need to focus on speed of the thought. We need to only take care of the quality of the thought, because the right quality is always going to be slow. It's always going to be peace. It's always going to be calm. It will be so slow that over a period of time, you might sometimes experience that you're not thinking anything. Because it's just slow. That's all. It's like a slow car. It will feel it's not moving at all. But it is moving, but it's very slow. It's at a comfortable pace. So it's both ways. When it's slow, the quality is right. When the quality is right, it's slow. When it's too fast, quality is unhealthy. When quality is unhealthy, it's too fast. So the first thing that we need to change today, decision, early morning emotional diet. How many of you ready to take up an experiment just for 1 month, 30 days? My morning diet first will not be the world news. Will not be. We'll see after that what it will be, but will not be the world news. My first thought when I wake up will not go to my phone and go click, click, click. Early morning, absorption power highest. First email from office, first thought. No, after 1 hour. It's important, but this is my time. Morning, my time. It's the time when I'm going to prepare a powerful me for the whole day. The whole day I have, the entire day is there to address office work, to address office emails. I have the entire day, but my morning 1 hour is to energize myself for that entire day. But some of us even wake up in the night and look at our phone. Anyone does that? Very simple lifestyle habits to be happy and peaceful always. So 1 month experiment. World news after 8 o'clock. But that doesn't mean I wake up at 7:45 and that's my 8 o'clock. I assume that you wake up by 5:36. And so world news after 8 o'clock. First 2 hours, this is medical science. First 2 hours, absorption power is highest. This mind is like a blotting paper. So first 2 hours, it just absorbs. So I just have to take care what I put on it in the first 2 hours. But once I have put in the wrong nutrient first 2 hours in the morning, now throughout the day, how much ever I try, right thinking, peaceful thinking, compassion for the other person. So today we are changing one habit, and a very simple habit. No toxic diet early morning. Done? Done? Everyone who loves themselves will change their diet today. We love ourselves. We're going to change.